Thank you for being here and for sharing your story. Unfortunately, it's the story of so many other Americans. They have stories like yours, faced with health problems, fighting for their lives, and forced to think not only about facing the battle, but about how they can afford the treatment. While insurance companies come and in at the most vulnerable moments for you and your family members. I remember when my son Bo was lying in the hospital after he came home from Iraq after a year. He had stage 4 glioblastoma. They told him not whether he was going to live, but just how long would he live. As he lay there fighting for his life, fighting to hang on, I thought to myself, what would it be like if in his suffering my insurance company or his insurance company is able to come in and say, you've run out of coverage. Time's up. You're on your own. Well, folks, it's a question no one should have to face in America. That's why I fought so hard and why Obamacare was such a big thing. It's unconscionable. It's unconscionable that Donald Trump, from the day he got elected till right now, he's fighting in court to rip that peace of mind away from tens of millions of Americans. But we're not going to let him do it. We're never going back to those days. And you're going to vote. We're going to win for you, Jessica, and your family. And I promise you, I will protect your family as if it were my own. I want to thank all the speakers you heard earlier. Your governor, Tim, is great, who's leading Minnesota with decency and integrity. And one of the outstanding members of Congress, Betty McCollum, let's send her back to the House of Representatives. We need her badly. And your incredible junior senator, Tina Smith, who I got to speak a little bit back here, she's got to go back. And look, let's win back the Minnesota State Senate while we're at it. One of the nation's finest leaders and a dear friend I've been honored to stand alongside and fight together for the soul of this nation for a long time, Senator Amy Klobuchar. Amy, I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Yesterday in Florida, I had a chance to spend a little more time with another Minnesota icon, Karl Anthony Towns. You all heard of him. Boy, he can play, man. You all know him as the heart and soul of the Timberwolves. But he's also a son who, like many other Americans, lost his mom to COVID-19 a couple months ago. For all those sons and daughters, those parents, siblings, husbands and wives, facing empty chairs and dining room tables, have empty holes in their hearts, all those who reach over at night, implicit, just by instinct, to say goodnight to their husband or wife, they deserve so much better. These guys are not very polite, but they're like Trump. But look, they're going to be okay. We're going to take care of them as well. We need to come together. We need to fight for all these folks. We have 4 days left to get it done. 4 days. And millions of Americans are already voting. Millions more will vote by Tuesday. And I believe when you use your power, the power to vote, will change the course of this country and the course of history. Right here in Minnesota with all of you, in the final days, keep that sense of empowerment. Keep that sort of empowerment with you, that sense of optimism, what we can overcome. Now look, there's a reason they don't want to hear me, because they know the president doesn't say anything. So they're not used to not hearing anything. But I know it's hard, folks. I know it's hard. More than 228, I believe it is now, 1,000 Americans have died because of COVID-19. Nearly 2,500 here in Minnesota gone. We had 9 million new cases nationwide. Millions of Americans are out of work, on the edge. They can't see any light. They don't know where it's going. And Donald Trump He's simply given up. Over the weekend, White House counsel, chief of staff, he said the following: "We're not going to control the pandemic." At the debate last week, Donald Trump turned to me and said, "We're rounding the corner. It's going away. We're learning to live with it." But as I told him, no, he's asking us to learn to die with it. We're not going to. And did you hear what he said today? What he said today on the trail, he said that our doctors, our first responders, over 1,000 lost their lives, are putting their lives on the line, busting their necks, making up. He said, but they're making up deaths from COVID because they get more money. The President of the United States is accusing the medical profession of making up COVID deaths so they make more money. Doctors and nurses go to work every day to save lives. They do their jobs. Donald Trump should stop attacking them and do his job. Folks, this is the same man who weeks ago when he was told we're losing 1,000 lives a day, you remember what he said? He said, "It is what it is." That's thoughtful. Well, it is what it is because he is who he is. Donald Trump has waved the white flag and surrendered to this virus. But the American people don't give up. They don't cower. Neither will I. Remember when he did that interview, he told Bob Woodward that he knew about the virus and how deadly it was at the end of January. But he didn't tell anybody. He didn't even tell those folks. He didn't tell anybody. And Woodward asked him why. And on tape he said because he didn't want to panic the American people. The American people don't panic. Donald Trump panics. And unlike Donald Trump, we will not surrender to this virus. Look, President Trump is spreading division and discord. He thinks that he can divide us. We won't notice his failures. That's what it's all about. That's why he shamelessly equates Somali refugees, folks seeking a better life in America, contributing to this state and our country, with terrorists, as he did last night. We need a president who'll bring us together, not pull us apart. I'll deal with this pandemic responsibly, bringing the country together around testing, tracing, masking. It's estimated by the leading doctors in this country that if we just wore a mask for the next few months, we'd save over 100,000 lives of over 200,000 lives they expect to lose. Dr. Fauci called for a mask mandate last week. This isn't a political statement like those ugly folks over there beeping the horns. This is a patriotic duty, for God's sake. Look, in his own words, as I said, the president knew back in January how extremely dangerous and communicable this disease was. And I told you, he went on and he made that tape. He said the disease was easily able to spread. But he did nothing. He did nothing at all. Look, folks, American people are tough. And instead of talking and politicizing the vaccine, he should be planning for a safe, equitable, and free distribution of a vaccine when it comes next year. This guy refused to provide schools and small businesses the resources and the national standards to open safely. The House of Representatives already passed the money to allow schools to open safely, businesses open safely, to make sure people are paid. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll bring Republicans and Democrats together to deliver economic relief for working families, schools, and businesses. As I said before, I'm not going to shut down the economy. I'm going to shut down the virus. Donald Trump inherited a strong economy that Barack and I gave him. But guess what? Like everything else he inherited, he squandered it. Like everything he's inherited. But we can build back, and we can build back better with an economy that rewards work, not wealth. We can do it without raising taxes on the middle class and working families. I promise you, you have my word, if you make less than $400,000 a year, you won't pay a penny more in taxes. But I tell you what, for the first time in a long time, the wealthiest and biggest corporations are going to start paying their fair share. 91 out of the Fortune 500 companies paid zero in taxes last year. Why? Why should a firefighter, an educator, even that guy blowing that horn, why should he pay? Why should a nurse pay higher tax rates than the super wealthy? Why should you pay more taxes than Donald Trump pays? He's exploited every loophole in tax code. He's run a shell game to avoid paying taxes. If you notice, I've released 22 years of my tax returns. He's not released one single year. What's he hiding? Where's the corruption? According to Trump, the reason why I only paid $750 is because he's smart. Well, what does that make the rest of us to pay our fair share, Mr. President? We're going to deliver tax relief for working families in the middle class, help you buy your first home, pay for health care premiums, or child care, or care for your aging parents, or be able to actually pay for school. Trump got a Supreme Court justice. First time it's ever happened while elections already started. For one reason. He's determined to do what he's been trying to do for 4 years, destroy the Affordable Care Act. If they get their way, 100 million Americans will lose protections for pre-existing conditions. Complications from COVID-19 will be the next pre-existing condition, allowing insurers to jack up your premiums or deny your coverage. And women will again be able to be charged more for the same health care as a man just because they're a woman. Donald Trump thinks health care is a privilege. I think it's your right. And if we all get out and vote, we'll not only restore Obamacare, we'll strengthen it and build on it. So you can keep your private insurance if that's what you like, or choose a Medicare-like option, a public option. We'll increase subsidies, lower your premiums and deductibles, out-of-pocket spending, reduce prescription costs by 60% by allowing Medicare to negotiate with drug prices. We're going to keep the protections for people with pre-existing conditions, and we'll protect Social Security and Medicare. Meanwhile, the Social Security actuary said that if Donald Trump said, elect me again and I'm going to change Social Security, the actuary said if the changes he puts in place occur, that Social Security will be bankrupt in 2023. So go home and tell your parents and grandparents just what Trump's about to do. I'll protect Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. But folks, nothing's worse that this president has done than the way he spoke about those who served in uniform. He called them losers and suckers. My son, Bo, gave up the Attorney General's seat in the state of Delaware to volunteer to go to Iraq for a year. He won the Bronze Star, the Conspicuous Service Medal. He wasn't a loser or a sucker. He was a patriot. So many of you as well. No wonder the 6 generals who worked directly for the Trump administration have left, and they say he does not deserve to be the commander-in-chief of the United States. That's never happened to any president before. And that's why Special Operations Commander General Stanley McChrystal, Navy SEAL Commander Admiral McCraven, along with 24 stars, endorsed me, saying they support me to be the next commander-in-chief because they trust me. And that's why the Military Times reported the more troops will vote for Biden than Trump. That's why we have to support the military. They're the backbone of the country. So let them vote, and let's vote for them. And while Donald Trump fails to condemn white supremacy, we can deliver on racial justice. The season of protest has broken out across the nation because the life and dignity of George Floyd, senselessly killed 7 miles from here, and so many others that mattered. Protesting and burning and looting is not protesting. It's violence, clear and simple, and will not be tolerated. But these protests are a cry for justice. The names of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Jacob Blake will not soon be forgotten, not by me, not by us, not by this country, because true justice is also economic justice. Access to schooling, housing, access to capital, good-paying jobs and financial stability, giving families of color a real shot to own a home, start a small business, send a child to college debt-free so they can build wealth and pass down opportunity through the generations like the rest of us have. We have to vote to ensure the full promise of this country for everyone. And finally, we have to vote to meet the challenge of the climate crisis. The West is on fire, losing more forest than the total land of Connecticut and Rhode Island combined. The Midwest is flooding. Here in Minnesota, extreme weather incurs big costs for your infrastructure. Increased flooding in the Mississippi watershed has shut down port facilities here and in St. Paul. Donald Trump thinks it's all a hoax. He sure is a stable genius. He says the wind power causes cancer. I say it creates jobs, Minnesota jobs. We can combat climate change with American ingenuity in manufacturing, building a more resilient nation, creating millions of new high-paying jobs. And we can change the path we're on. Nothing's beyond our capacity. So honk your horn if you want America to lead again. Honk your horn if you want Americans to trust each other again. Honk your horn if you want to have civility again. And honk your horn if you want America to be united again. We cannot afford 4 more years of Donald Trump. In 2008 and 12, you placed your trust in me and Barack Obama, and each day we were in office, we worked for you and the entire community. I'll do it again in 2020. My campaign is a broad coalition of Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Republican office holders. I'm running as a proud Democrat, but I will govern as an American president. I'll work as hard for those who don't support me as those who do, because that's the job of a president. It's the duty of care for everyone. And you, too, have a sacred duty, the duty to vote. It matters. Minnesota matters. So on the final days, stay empowered, stay optimistic, stay united. Make a plan to vote. Help get out the vote. As Amy said, go to iwillvote.com/MN. Yesterday, the federal appeals court forced a last-minute change in the rules. Absentee ballots have to be received by Tuesday. So if you want your voice to be heard, drop off your ballot. Don't put it in the mail, or vote safely in person any day up through Election Day. But you've got to get it done. And make sure everyone you know votes as well. So they'll not be able to stop us. Despite Trump's efforts, a recent press article points out that, quote, never before in modern presidential politics, I'm quoting now, never before in modern presidential politics has a candidate been so reliant on wide-scale efforts to repress the votes as Trump, end of quote. We will not be silenced. Over 85 million people have already voted. 85 million. They've had enough. Look, I'll never forget the words President Kennedy said when he promised to send us to the moon. He said we're doing it because we in America, we refuse to postpone. I refuse to postpone the work America must do. There's nothing beyond our capacity. There's no limit to America, including guys like that. The only thing that can tear America apart is America itself. And that's exactly what Donald Trump has been doing from the beginning. Divide America, pitting Americans against one another based on race, ethnicity, national origin. That's wrong. That's not who we are. Everybody knows who Donald Trump is. Let's keep showing them who we are. We choose hope over fear. We choose unity over division, science over fiction. And yes, we choose truth over lies. So it's time to stand up, take back our democracy. We can do this. We're so much better than this. We can be who we are at our best, the United States of America. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.